All right, we're back again with another video. Slightly different scenery, obviously, because it's springtime and I'm actually facing a different direction this time. My back is turned to y'all, and the camera is behind me. So, this is what so I'm swapped. I mean, it's inverse or whatever, or reversed. Anyway, uh, that's beside the point. Um, I'm back again for another video. I look slightly different today, as you can see. I usually am rocking the black vest with the sweater, you know, and an octopus hat on, and trying to look badass, but really, I just look like what I am, which is a big dork. But that's okay. I'm a badass and a dork at the same time. How many people could say that? It's like the dude, you know what I kind of remind myself of? Is the guy, I don't know, have y'all ever watched, any of you who have, I'm sure many of you, most of you have probably watched the SpongeBob SquarePants movie from way back in the day, from like 2004, 2005, I think it came out. And there was that guy, right? And he was a criminal. And he walked into a bar in the movie. It's very intense for children's television, by the way. This is like adult stuff that they were adding into the SpongeBob movie, which doesn't surprise me, because there was always little Easter eggs, with SpongeBob, like, um, they would kind of put stuff in the cartoon deliberately just for the adults to get their attention, you know. SpongeBob was every bit as much for grown-ups. I would argue it's actually more for adults than children. But anyway, so there's that criminal in SpongeBob, right? And he walks into the bar and he blows a bubble. And then the guy at the counter is like, "Hey, who blew that bubble?" And then he literally just gives himself away, not giving a fuck. Most badass looking guy you'll ever see. I wouldn't pick a fight with him. Certainly I wouldn't. But he comes in there and he blows a bubble. And he's like, the bar owner walks up to him and he's like, "You may not know it, cowboy, but we got a rule around here. No blowing bubbles." And then he's reciting the pledge or whatever. All bubble blowing babies will be beaten senseless by da 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 da. And then the guy literally just fucking uppercuts him. He's just like, bam! And he launches him into orbit. I feel like that's something, that is a feat that only people like myself could accomplish, Where am I going with all of this? Well, I'll explain where I'm going with all of this. So, basically, I feel like I'm a very nice guy, but I'm also kind of a dickhead. And if you remember that movie, that guy at the bar was actually a very nice guy, very hospitable. But he was also kind of an asshole at the same time. And I feel like that's me, right? I do my best to be a good, nice, hospitable human being. But the thing is, we all fall short of perfection, right? And it's very tough, in fact, impossible to go through your entire life mistake-free, And people oftentimes who do their best to kind of hold it together, and the people that you think are the most held together, like, put together, good head on their shoulders, like always does the right thing, always does the responsible thing, that person's got more demons than you realize, and conversely, you may see a homeless guy on the street who's, a pig in shit because he's just so happy to be alive. Those people exist. They're rare. They're far and in between. I mean, good luck finding them, but they do exist. And it just goes to show that everything is very complicated and nuanced. And that leads me into guilt, right? Because I feel like a lot of people, they attach themselves to an old identity. I think that goes without saying. You know, it's like kind of like, oh my God, Griffin, you're not saying anything new. Everybody knows this, right? But I think that when people attach themselves to an old identity, they take that old identity with them moving forward, and they don't understand that they are not even their behavior. They're not. People are, there's multiple versions of you, okay? There's multiple versions of you in different realities. So the version of you that goes about your day-to-day life and makes the decisions that that person makes is not even really you, because there's another you somewhere else making a different choice. Looks like you, talks like you, acts like you, kind of, but is making different decisions. And you got to understand, like, throughout the course of your life, you're going to be faced with a decision, you know? And depending on the decision that you make, changes the course of your own reality. So then that gets me into thinking, okay, well, what is reality? I think reality is just a human construct. This is something that we conjured up because we were bored. And we got tired of being, we got tired of just existing. And so we incarnated on this earth to fulfill a purpose and to live the human experience. And so when you go through a bad situation, what you're experiencing is not even really a bad situation. It's about your perspective, right? And how you internalize it. Because something is only bad if you think it's bad and you give it the power of being bad, even if it is bad. You know what I'm saying? It's a shift of perception. Here lately, I've found myself very discontent with my current circumstances, right? And I'm addressing those things and I'm working toward changing those things. But one thing that I have to remind myself of is, oh, at least I have a place to live. Oh, at least I have a job. Oh, at least I have clothes on my back. At least I have access to food and water, And that's where I think gratitude goes a long way. And that's really what helps you enjoy the space between where you are and where you're headed. Gratitude is really much more essential, in my opinion, even than desire. Because the Buddha said that, the end of desire is the end of all suffering. And I think that there needs to be more of a balance, especially in this fucking country, in the United States. There needs to be more of a balance between, I never take a break, I'm destined to burn out, I am in workaholic hyperdrive, never take a break, destined to burn out, hustle culture mode. We got to break away from that, but we also have to break away from the I'm lazy and I'm dirty and I bumble through life because being dumb is quirky type of thing. There has to be a balance between the two worlds. I think a lot of people, the biggest thing that they get wrong and that they don't understand about life is that you have all the time in the world. Genuinely. I mean, you have all the time. You have all the time, literally, as a spiritual being. I know I'm getting all woo-woo here, but as a spiritual being, right, having a human experience, you literally have all the time. You have all the infinite time. But what you don't have is time to waste. Because this physical body still ages. Time still goes by, whether you like it or not. And if you don't make different decisions now, and for the rest of your life, that you will be in the same place a year from now that you are right now. You'll be in the same place and you'll just be drifting through life. I think life is too short to not do what you enjoy, you know? And when I see people just go to work and come home and literally don't do anything else, that breaks my fucking heart, man. You know, I'm not saying everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. I'm not saying everybody needs to fucking, work for themselves or anything like that. At the end of the day, we need the working class, right? I mean, assuming that we have to live in a capitalist society, which it seems like in America we pretty much do, then, not everybody obviously can live quote unquote freely, because we need the working class, right? We need people to do these jobs, obviously, or society would collapse. But what I am saying is, bro, like, you gotta learn to enjoy this life. And you have to do that in whatever form works for you. And there's a lot of people out there who literally just go to work, they come home, they watch TV, they go to sleep. And that is so crippling, because it's like there's so much more to life. I mean, look at all of this shit, bro. Look at how beautiful the scenery is. I know the sun's kind of coming down right now, but you can see how beautiful this is, And it sounds corny or whatever, but like, I don't know where I would be without any of this. If I didn't have this to experience every day, living in a state where it's warm and sunny and green most of the time, most of the year, is like the shit to me. And you have to understand that it's the small things in life. I think that enjoying the space between where you are and where you're headed is really keen. You have to be keen on, like, taking in the little things, But anyway, this is a very long-winded rant. Again, I don't script these. I didn't even have a topic in mind for this video. I literally was just like, I don't know what to talk about. I'm going to turn the camera on and see what comes out. And this is what came out. So this is my second, of course, ADHD rant in the series. There will be many more, and I can promise you that. But this one is much shorter than the last one, because I think the last one was a little too long. This is about to approach the 15-minute mark, and that's kind of where I want it, as opposed to the 23-minute mark, which is insane. But anyway, as always, if you like this video, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if you did not enjoy this video, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and kiss my ass, and eat it while you're at it. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace, love, and light.